Hello, fellow leg givers. I'm here to show you today how to disarm the forearm and the upper bicep. Here's how I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start from Blender again. I'm gonna go Edit mode, select all. I'm going to cut this part and cut this part, and so that then you may dismember the lower forearm and the upper bicep. What you're gonna do, you're gonna select bisect. You're gonna select everything in edit mode, select bisect, clear inner, fill it. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna go back to object mode. Go edit mode. Oop. Gonna select all. Then you're gonna clear inner or clear outer. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna clear outer. Fill it in. I'm only gonna do this one part of the body because once you know how to do this, you'll know how to do the other one because it's symmetrical. What I'm gonna do, go back to object mode, select the armature, select the mesh, select the armature, export. This is the left bicep, as it says here. Do not use space transform, only deform bones. Something like that. So I'm going to export it. And what you're going to do, you're going to import. Negative 90 degrees for it all. There you go. There's your left upper bicep. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go for the lower forearm next. Really quick. Control Z. Do bisect again. Clear the inner. Fill. Go object mode. Select it. Export. Same settings. I call it lower left forearm. Choose selected objects, armature and mesh. Apply unit, armature, only deform bones, geometry, apply modifiers, and no animation. So now you have that. And you can do Control Z if you ever mess up. Have it always selected. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to import it. The lower left forearm. You're going to import the skeletal mesh, import mesh, We're gonna attach to the skeleton, the SK mannequin skeleton that I imported from a third-person template. You're gonna have it at negative 9 degrees, and you're going to import all. There we go. Here's lower left forearm. Now, since I showed you how to import it, since I showed you how to import it, I did this multiple times, as you can see. I'm gonna show you how to declare and encode. As you can see here, I declared more U properties. A function here called set master pose component, and already did lower right arm, create a lower right arm, an upper bicep, an upper bicep left and right, and lower left arm, and lower right arm. Here's the code. And this is inside the character so that you can call the functions to drop the mesh itself. Again, I'm gonna reiterate. You're gonna delete all the spawning projectile spawning code. You're gonna replace it with this. It's a multi-line trace by channel that is attached to a socket muzzle using the socket rotation. And here's the line multi-trace by channel. And what I'm doing, I created a new game trace channel like in the first tutorial. Enemy hit, start trace, and the end trace. Query params, response params, using a multi-line trace. Checking to see if enemy hit is greater than 0. Checking to see if you hit anything at all whatsoever. Casting to the mannequin itself. Calling the function. Passing in the bone name as a variable into this function. Now what you do, you just attach it as normal. Attach it, sub attachment, get mesh, sub attachment, get mesh. And for the lower right arm, the same thing. Set master pose component. Here. And here's where it gets a little tricky. What you want to do, hold on 1 second. What you want to do, you want to check to see if the lower left arm is simulating physics, and if the upper bicep is simulating physics. And also you want to check if you're hitting the left arm, the upper left arm bone. You're checking if it's not simulating physics and if this is not simulating physics. And if neither are simulating physics, you drop the entire arm. This converted string allows you to hide the arm in its entirety, or whichever bone in its entirety. And now I'm saying that to null, querying physics, setting this hidden in the game to false. And the reason why I'm attaching the lower left arm and I'm setting it hidden to true is because once you drop, of course, the entire arm, you want to set the entire arms, you want to set the lower left arm hidden. You don't want it to be visible because once you drop that one arm, drop the whole arm, the the lower forearm will be visible because you attached it to the mesh. And of course, this applies to the upper bicep, and you want this set to no collision as well. It will stay attached to the character. It'll just have no collision, and it'll be hidden. If you try destroying the component instead, what will happen is if you drop the arm, you set simulate physics, and you drop the arm, and you try to destroy the component instead of setting it hidden, it'll crash your game. And an else if statement, checking if you're hitting the lower left arm string bone. You're checking to see if the left arm is not simulating physics. And if it's not simulating physics, you hide the mesh's lower forearm. And you're saying a lower left arm to query in physics. Set this to true. And you set hidden game to false. Else if you're hitting the upper left arm, this is the upper bicep upper left bicep that you are affecting. You're checking to see if the lower left arm is simulating physics, because you need to check if it's simulating physics because you need to check see if it dropped first, so it makes sense to drop this upper left bicep next. Then if the left arm is not simulating physics, run this. Because if it was, then it would probably drop this as well at the same time, and you don't want that. You're having two things dropping at the same time. Two skeletal meshes dropping at the same time. This applies to the right hand side, to the right arm. Applies exactly the same. As you can see, look. The upper bicep right, set hidden game to true. Upper bicep left, no collision, blah blah. Do that. And you're doing exactly the same thing here as you're doing here, it's just symmetrical. Here you're setting them up. You're setting up the head to the mesh. If you try, like, for example, setting up an attachment to the right arm to the lower right arm, or the lower right arm, attaching it to the right arm, it won't work. I've tried it. You need to attach it all to the mesh. Say the master pose component. And this function is being called within this character by attaching a line trace to the muzzle. There's enemy hit, a T array of F hit results. You're ignoring the FP gun, so that then you don't hit your own gun, and it doesn't count as a hit. And here you're calling the function, passing in the bone name. And to reiterate, the bone name is right here. All right. You're converting the bone name to the results that were hit. the bone that was hit, you're comparing this to that. You're making it equal to this, which is whichever bone name that you hit. You're converting it to a string because you won't be able to pass it in here otherwise if it wasn't a string. All right, now one last demonstration. As you can see, everything is falling in its right place. Okay, well, I'll see you guys some other time. Have a great and wonderful day. Stay safe out there.